at the Chiller Thriller Film Festival in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I have Byron Turk. Byron, you are here at Thriller Chiller. Why?
I'm here to show my feature film, The Bates Haunting.
And we've already seen it, so it's no surprise. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Very cool. I love the special effects. The makeup was great.
Oh, thank you.
And where did you film that?
We filmed at the Bates Motel and Haunted Hayride in Gradyville, Pennsylvania. It's an actual haunted attraction out in the Northeast. There's a lot of haunted hayrides, a lot of just haunted attractions out in the area, and I happen to have a connection to one of the best ones out there, or best ones, worldwide. So we had a phenomenal set, and then we had phenomenal haunt actors that were able to make cameos and play roles in our movie, and as well as just great staff. A lot of the key players at the Bates Motel and Haunted Hayride were big players behind the scenes for us on the movie. They did a lot of our effects, our in-camera effects and our makeup, like the burn face.
I was wondering about that because the really great makeup.
There's
Who did the makeup? Give them a plug.
Okay, well we had Sean Seeger, his brother Rob Seeger, and then Marisa Giamotto. They are some of the main makeup artists, and then they also are haunt actors, and they teach the haunt actors, the new ones, what to do, and they also are instrumental in making the scenes, set design, stuff like that. And we were introduced to them by my co-producer Cosimo Dorita. He basically, he's the one who brought us to the haunt, and brought Jean Louise and I, who played Agnes, and Cosimo was Clyde. The three of us made the movie, and he kept pitching us to make the movie. Like, this place I work at is awesome. We got to make a movie. And eventually, he got his way, and we made a movie there. And it was a great experience. It was very hard, but it was a great experience. And he knew that we needed all the help we could get. So he's like, these are the people at the haunt that we need to work with, that we need to have with us. And Sean, Rob, Marisa, they were very instrumental in giving us the lowdown on what's going on, doing our effects. Like there's effects where legs get caught in a combine.
Oh yeah, the combine thing. That was seriously.
That was awesome.
Yes, that was seriously.
Yeah, so they made that. They made our.
Reminds me of the game Kittens in the Blender. Ever play that? It's a card game.
Oh, it's a card game.
But that was the real blender.
Yeah, no, they did a great job. There's things like the saw that cuts through the midsection, and we wanted to keep as much of our effects in camera and organic as possible, to play off of horror movies that we were trying to relate to and that we were brought up on. Were not CGI heavy. Things were real. Things maybe look a little bit cheesy, like you might see someone scream and then someone wield an axe, and then you just see like a stiff dummy get an axe in the chest, and then blood sort of splurts out, and you're like, oh, that wasn't a real person that got hit, but it's a real thing that got hit by an axe, and it's a real thing that happens. And so we wanted to do more of those effects instead of the CGI stuff where it looks almost too real to be real, or too cartoonish. So we leaned on them a lot with like the legs, and then there was the midsection getting cut, and then there's things like the blood spray from off screen. It's like, let's not be realistic about that. Let's have fun, like in the movies that we grew up watching. Like, it's like someone's screaming, and then there's just people just whipping blood at them from all angles. It's like, let's do that, and then I have to like zoom in on the image a little bit, because every once in a while you'll see like a hand enter in. But it's like that's part of it, and so they did a great job. And we have one actress, Alexandra. I can't pronounce her last name. There's a lot of.
Okay, well, Alexandra.
But she played Lily, and she did a great job, because she on 2 occasions had to go undergo like over 6 hours worth of makeup.
Oh, wow.
Where
That was
we-
the burn victim, right? At
Yes.
the beginning, Lily.
Yeah, we took her pretty face and just made it
Right.
awful. Twice. And one
Right.
of them was the face, and the other one was the whole head just completely burned. And that was Marisa doing that. And she did a great job. And the thing for them is they do a lot of really great work for the haunts. They do a lot of practical work. And so this movie stuff for camera and stuff under our deadlines, like, we need this done in 2 hours. You know, we don't know how long it takes, so we just say we need it in 2 hours, and they're like, oh, we're rushed. But they stuck to it and made sure all the effects they did were good. And I think it worked. It was worth it.
Oh, it was awesome.
Mhm.
It was very, very well done. The my assistant over there,
Yeah.
I think he thought it was rather odd when I jumped and screamed, but it's
Oh, yeah.
if you heard somebody down front jumping and screaming, that was me. Not like a girl though. It was more. Whoa!
No, it was
Not.
it was very manly.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. A manly scream.
Yeah, we had a couple.
And a
Couple
couple of very good belly laughs too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we definitely wanted to keep it camp and keep it lighthearted.
Mhm.
As you know, with the whole haunted attraction, it's a lighthearted thing. Half of it is, you know, being scared, and half of it is laughing at, you know, the someone getting scared and screaming. And an example of that is like they have the wagon that on the hayride.
Right.
And so sometimes you'll have like my favorite.
Oh, when she kicks him in the face.
Yeah, that happens.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a whole. I'll get to that in a second. But
Sorry.
they have, my favorite guys are the guys with the chainsaw.
Uh-huh.
And there's this one guy named Tim, and I call him Chainsaw Tim.
Mhm.
He has cameras as an extra all over the movie, and so sometimes they'll get on the wagon if it's empty enough,
Right.
and there'll be like one person that's really losing it.
Mhm.
And so they have these chainsaws, which are real chainsaws, but no chains,
Right.
no edges.
Just
But
makes noise.
it makes noise, and you can smell the diesel exhaust, you know?
Right.
So they get it right on you, and like one person will be freaking out, and everyone else will be laughing at them. And it's awesome. It's a good show, you know?
Mhm.
And so it's like, it's a balance of like, you need to provide scares, and you need to provide, you know, the humor.
Mhm.
So that way there's entertainment for everyone.
Mhm.
And that's where we were going. Like, we wanted to keep that camp. Like, we don't take
Mhm.
ourselves too seriously.
Right.
We're at a haunted hayride, and people are dying, and somehow we have to go through the story where they just don't shut the place down right away, and the police don't show up and just arrest
Right.
everyone. We have to come up with a story about how it's gonna, about how this
How it
20-something
unfolds.
girl is gonna solve the mystery that her dad, who's a sheriff, can't.
Right.
So it's like, how seriously are we gonna take ourselves? Let's have
Right.
fun with it.
Yeah, on the note of very serious, I love the scene, and I won't give it away, but the axe, when she grabs the axe
Yes.
and attacks the murderer, and that was one of my favorite scenes
Thank
in the
you.
movie.
When we were rehearsing that, we had our G&E department, our Griffin Electrical. They were like in another end of the haunted house,
Mhm.
pre-lighting another scene.
Mhm.
They heard us rehearsing that, and they started laughing. They're like, that's gonna be our favorite part of the movie.
Mhm.
That one line.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts. You know.
Thank you.
But very cool. So
Yes.
how long have you been making movies? Tough question.
I started making this movie in 2010,
Okay.
so I've been making feature films since
So
2010.
2010.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. This is your first movie.
Mhm.
Did you do shorts before that?
I've done a few shorts.
Okay.
I've produced and edited, done various roles. I've done sound. I think it's important
Mhm.
to
work
you
your
know,
way up.
to work your way up.
And understand what background behind it.
But by working your way up, what you do is you learn all the different roles.
Right.
So when you get to the top, you're not at that hands-on like some people are, and you
Right.
can be. But what you're ultimately responsible for is directing everyone else to do their jobs.
Right.
And so you need to know how everyone else does their jobs.
Right.
And so I built up experience doing that.
Very cool.
And then, but I was mainly in the documentary format.
So
for a
this
while.
is your absolute first feature film.
Yeah.
And I know how hard it is to get anybody to pay attention to a movie.
Right.
So tell me the story about how nobody is even watching your movie.
What?
Tell me about the distribution.
Yeah.
I'm finding about your
Yeah.
first movie and what's the distribution on it.
Well,
I was joking. It was a joke.
I
Relax.
I get it. Now. I get it now. I drank coffee right beforehand. I'm all jacked up right now. It's my first film.
Uh-huh.
So, firstly, like you go like with milestones,
Uh-huh.
and I was just thrilled that we got through shooting it.
Right.
That people stuck around in the
Mhm.
production. We shot it, and then I edited together an assembly
Mhm.
cut, and I was like, we have scenes and characters and a story.
Mhm.
We have to fix them,
Mhm.
but we have that. That's
Right.
awesome. So then we went back and fixed it, and then we edited it together, and we had a complete movie. And it was like, that's great. A lot of people don't even start making a movie, and then a lot of people don't even get to finish making their first feature
Right.
film. This is amazing. I'm already ahead of the game, right? And the next thing you know it, we're distributed video on demand almost everywhere in North America right
Mhm.
now. We're on Redbox,
Mhm.
which is insane. I mean, everyone's watching it. Everyone watches all Redbox movies. So if you
Mhm.
get a movie there, you're gold. So we're on Redbox. We're on demand, like Comcast,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. iTunes, Amazon, Vudu, Google Play, YouTube. Just list all sorts of kinds.
So
of
virtually anywhere in the
Virtually-
world you want to watch it, you
Yeah,
can
we
catch
just
it somewhere.
Fangoria just got a new channel
Uh-huh.
on Hulu Plus, and so we're one of the first launch titles on Fangoria's Hulu Plus channel, which is a big deal.
Oh, it's
And then-
awesome.
Yeah,
Your first film and it's everywhere.
it's my first film, and so we're also for sale on Amazon DVD format. But anyone can do that. But we're going.
Anyone can do it.
No, the
Actually, getting sales though is a
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah, we'll see how many we're selling though, but it's like Amazon is great because
Mhm.
anyone can put their feature or short on there, and then Amazon will distribute your DVD
Mhm.
or stream it.
So basically you're available anywhere online.
Mhm.
Is it anywhere else?
Yeah, we're going to be selling DVDs off of Amazon and a few other resources, like small Halloween type shops will have DVDs. But we just got in Walmart. So at the end of January 2014, The Bates Haunting will be sold in Walmarts everywhere.
So
Which-
that's brick and mortar distribution
Yeah.
all over.
It's huge.
Absolutely.
So
Congratulations.
we are absolutely thrilled. We are above and beyond where we would have ever expected with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about that is, like, every time we get to that milestone, like, okay, we have a movie, we finished the movie, we keep wanting to take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a movie, but we need to make it better because now we're gonna compete with the next level of projects. So, like, we have distribution, we need to make sure we do a good job with that and get it everywhere. And so
Mhm.
it's like, it's almost like not being satisfied,
Mhm.
always keep trying to push yourself.
Right.
And we've been very fortunate that this movie continues to keep going and bringing us success. And it's all about making something and getting people to watch it. And that's what we're doing.
Very cool. So now I have to do a little sidetrack in another direction.
Yeah.
Where do you plan on going after you've done? Well, you've done the thriller chiller, but
Yeah.
after you've done a movie that's everywhere,
Right.
what are you gonna go to next? Another horror movie or what?
Well, I have some horror movie ideas
Okay.
that I'm sort of developing
Okay.
and working on.
And you said you did documentaries too.
I do documentary format stuff. I do sort of reality TV.
Okay.
So right now I'm working on a show, a home makeover show for A&E
Mhm.
called Flipping Boston. That's my day job.
Heard of it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun, but it's 5 days a week every day. So it's
Right.
like, trying to find the time to do something else.
Right.
So obviously I have a couple ideas for another horror movie because that's what we just did, and
Right.
those are the most fun movies to make. But with this movie, most of the challenge was trying to make it. And so my next specific project that I'm going to do that I'm working on with the lead actor Zach, who played Junior Bates, the short blonde guy.
Right.
We
Very good job, by the way.
Oh, he blew me out of the water. People actually thought for like the first week of shooting, he was some like slow kid who worked on the farm that we tricked into working for free for us.
He's convincing.
That's the PC version of the story, by the way.
Okay. Understood.
So, but he isn't slow, and we paid him to work for us. So none of that story is true.
Okay.
And you know, he did a phenomenal job, but we bonded with the creative process, with exploring his character and the story, and so we're working on another short together, just sort of as a fun filmmaking exercise, because he's another filmmaker.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
He produced and directed. He produced with some friends, and he was the director of a feature called Golden Times, and that's one of those things where, like our movie, I teamed up with a couple of actors, and we took control of our own destinies, and we said, let's make a movie where we play the lead characters, we have the roles that we want, and so we can show people that we deserve to do these things.
Very cool.
And so he did the same thing with two other actor friends. They took a story and they said, we can make movies that show people we can do it, and they went and did it. And so it's very easy to cast someone like that to be a lead in your independent movie, because you know he's gonna be elbows deep in the mud with you, getting it done.
Right.
And he didn't complain once. I complained a lot. A lot of people complained. He didn't complain once.
You're the whiner.
I'm not gonna say that. A whiner.
Okay. One of the many.
But yeah, so we're working on a smaller project, sort of for fun, and it's more of like an art house, sort of like almost the exact opposite of a horror movie, to kind of cleanse ourselves of the adventure that we just went on, because yeah. But still, I have other projects that I'm writing for the genre that I have him in mind for. I mean, I want him to act in everything that I shoot. So it's, who knows what's going to happen. It's just, you got to keep developing and producing stuff, and then strike when the iron's hot on a project. And that's how we made this one.
So any hints, titles?
Well,
it's okay.
It's still very fresh. We just handed off a big outline to a writer.
Okay.
And we're hoping to shoot in spring, and it's basically just a fun project for us to sort of.
Okay.
It's a smaller project, so it's like let's sharpen our filmmaking tools, and then we'll go out and make another feature.
Okay.
But it's going to be offensive. It's sad and horrible and funny.
Okay.
So,
offensive, sad, horrible, and funny.
All the stuff that you like, right? Yeah.
The good stuff. I like to close my interviews with offering the interviewee the opportunity to share something weird and wonderful about themselves or their production, or can you give us an interesting anecdote about the making of the film?
I think it could be summed up, this movie could be summed up with the statement, I nearly killed my whole crew making this movie. It's maybe a small exaggeration at most. We shot.
Okay.
We shot overnight.
You have me intrigued.
We shot overnight. I mean, it's basically I was a first-time director, and you think as a first-time director, it's you figure stuff out, or you don't know what you're getting into. I was also a first-time feature film producer. So it's things like, hey, let's save some money. I don't need maybe an extra 1 or 2 crew members. I'm going to save a little bit. And what that does is that makes everyone else still do the same amount of work. And you drive everyone into the ground. And we filmed in the winter in the woods overnight.
In Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania. So we'd show
nice warm place.
No. We'd show up at like dusk, start setting up, and by sunrise, because we never finished on time, we'd always stop when the sun came up, but we couldn't shoot anymore. Everything would be frosted over. Our cars, the grass, everything would be frosted over. It's like, that's what we just went through while we were making a movie. It's like, that happened to us. It got super cold, and we shot like 2 weeks for principal. the first week wasn't that bad. And so actors chose the wardrobes. Second week, I was in like 5 shirts, 5 pants, sweatshirt and coat, big old furry hat to keep myself warm, and gloves, right? And then my actors are still wearing like jeans and a t-shirt because that's what they wore the week before, right? And they're like, oh, this is like the next scene in the sequence, they have to match wardrobe, but now it's like 20 degrees colder.
Uh-huh.
And so it was bad. And then we had a nude scene where you could see the breath coming out of the girl's mouth, because that was one of the coldest nights on the shoot. She didn't complain. She was a great sport about everything. She was awesome. But it's like those were the conditions we're working in, and then the long hours, and then everyone has their commutes. We had crew members who had to pull over on the way home and just sleep in their car for the night.
Or the day.
Because we ran them so ragged. And, you know, it got to the point where, like, when we were shooting pickups, we came back a year later to shoot once the hunt was back open. And, you know, we learned our lesson. Like, we're like, okay, we budgeted for extra crew members and, like, shorter days. We figured everything out. You know, killing everyone the first time around, we figured out how to not kill them the second time. But, you know, coming back, they're like, by the way, like, we can't do it that way. We can't go through that same thing again, because it's just not possible. They were huge fans of independent cinema and horror movies. So, you know, their enthusiasm carried them through, and enthusiasm carried everyone through.
Right.
Because they love the genre and they just love the process. But the second time around went much smoother. No one almost died, except there's like, I would say, some of the knives that you see in the movie.
Uh-huh.
Can I say that?
Knives in the movie?
There
are knives in the movie, very definitely.
There are knives in the movie. Let's just say at some point I made sure to tell someone that he wasn't allowed to stab anyone with a knife.
Okay.
Because it was real.
Oh, okay.
But it looked awesome.
Alrighty.
That was probably the closest we got, and that wasn't my fault. But, you know, it's such an exhausting process, though. It's like, you only get one chance when you're there.
Right.
And it's forever once you get it on camera, on tape. Right. So you go all out. You know, I was getting 3 hours of sleep. I went insane. Here's the fun story about the project. When we wrapped, I was not used to sleeping more than 3 hours, so I would keep waking up, and I would have nightmares when I was asleep of being back on set, still shooting.
Oh, wow.
But I still knew that we finished shooting,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't know what we were supposed to shoot. Like, we covered our pages. Everyone's on set. They're putting up lights. I have actors getting into some wardrobe. I need something for them to do. And I was like, this is in my mind. Like, what are we going to do? We covered our pages. We have nothing to do. But I have to shoot since we're here.
Right.
And so I kept having nightmares like that, and I couldn't go to sleep because then it's restless and you keep waking up. And at one point, I was actually sleepwalking, and it was after a rap party. And the DP and I were in a hotel room, and I got up and I was yelling at him because he didn't have any lights set up. I was walking around in a dark room just out of my mind, back on set making a movie. But I eventually became uninsane.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for the interview, and from Grand Rapids, Michigan, this has been the Weird Review.
Thank you very much.